Hi friends, hi everyone. Welcome to our show number 5. Thank you so much for all your support. And I didn't think we were gonna make it to show number 5 at the beginning because I didn't know if you guys were gonna support this, but I'm so glad that you guys have, and you've been asking a lot of questions and getting involved and actually viewing our video. So today we have a very, very special guest. And before I introduce you to him, I want to ask you to please share this video so your friends can also go live. And this is information about the market. What's going to happen with the market? Is it ready to crash? Do we still have time? What's going on? So please help me share the video. And also, if you make a comment, you're going to be entered into the raffle, and we're giving out a gift card, a Starbucks gift card. So make sure you make a comment, ask a question. Any questions you have, make sure you type them under the video, and Claudia's going to give us the questions, and then Cory's going to answer them for us. Okay, so thank you. So today we have Cory Shepard here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
He's somebody very important to me, and I'm his admirer, you know, so much. And I always, when I go to the meetings, I want to interview him after every single time. So, Cory, I know a lot about you, but can you tell us about you?
Sure, absolutely. And before I do, Fabi, I just want to say what a great thing you're doing with this Facebook live show. You're on the cutting edge of being able to use your audience and get real estate information out that's very important to the people that need to hear it. So you're leading the way in real estate, and I want to congratulate you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to welcome our manager, Karen Vargas. She's here with us too. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, make sure you let us know.
So a little bit about me. I started in the real estate business in 1975. I have a beautiful family, my wife Gloria, who's also a real estate agent in the north part of the county, and then my son Dustin, my daughter Haley, who lives in Oregon and has a beautiful baby, and her family starting there. And you know, I got into real estate really as second generation in real estate because my dad talked me into going into real estate. It wasn't something I thought I wanted to do, but I immediately fell in love with the business and have been in the business ever since. So I sold for about 13 years prior to stopping selling. I was managing a real estate office, became my dad's partner in I think 1979, and operated companies until 2011 when I joined Peter here, actually in 2013 here, and it's just been a great 42 years in the real estate business. 42
years, wow, yeah, that's so. You've been through how many ups and downs in real estate?
So I went through the downturn in 1981 where we had 18% interest rates, then the downturn in the early 90s, which ended in the mid 90s, and then the last, what they call the Great Recession downturn as well.
Yeah, that one was a tough one. Well, I'm sure the other ones were too, I just wasn't.
You know, it's part of the economic cycle, so there's always going to be the great ups and there's going to be the downs that go along with it.
Well, I can't wait to hear where we are. So are you ready for some of our questions?
Absolutely.
And these are questions that my clients have been asking me throughout, you know, this last year. You know, buyers and sellers, they always want to know what's going on. So I have this list of questions. So my first one would be, what is the biggest challenge for San Diego real estate market over the next couple of years?
So really the challenge, Fabi, for the real estate market is inventory. We have been in a low inventory market for a number of years now, and that was really caused by the Great Recession. And builders just weren't building and getting projects ready to come on board. So for example, in San Diego County, we used to normally build about 20,000 houses a year. Right now we should be building about 11 to 15,000 homes per year, and we're only building a few thousand. Wow. So we are at least 80 or 90,000 homes short of what supply there should be in San Diego. So what that means for home buyers when they're out buying right now, in a lot of the price ranges, it's hard to find inventory. And when you do, you're competing with other buyers who want to buy that same home. So that's certainly part of the market right now, and that's going to continue to be part of the market for at least the next few years. The good news, I guess, of that for sellers is that they can maximize price, although market values are not going up wild or crazy right now. We're in really very moderate growth, but good sustainable growth. And so it's a good time to be a seller as well.
Right, yeah, you get to pick the highest offer. But the highest offer is not always the best offer.
That's
Just
right.
Remember that.
Has to have the best terms.
Right, exactly. So what is the median price of homes in San Diego and Chula Vista, and how do they compare this year versus last year?
Sure. So I'm going to break it into two categories.
Okay.
So we're going to look at single-family detached homes, and then we'll look at condominium and townhomes as well. So in San Diego overall in the county in 2016, the median price was $550,000. It has gone up to $591,000 first half of this year versus last year, and that's about a 7.5% growth. So good, solid appreciation in the market, but not the runaway appreciation that we had for several years. In attached, so condominiums, townhomes, in 2016 it was $362,500. It is now $390,000, so that's up about 7.6% in appreciation.
Pretty much the same.
Yes,
Right.
very good, solid returns. In Chula Vista, in 2016 it was $507,000, now $557,000. So Chula Vista is actually performing better than the rest of the county. That's up about 9%, and that's because our prices are more affordable. For attached, in 2016 it was $330,000, now $355,000. So again, up about 7.6%.
That's because Chula Vista has great realtors. So that's why we're selling faster. And for
It has
more.
great realtors, and it's a great community, and the city's done a great job growing the community.
That's correct. Okay, so now the next question. How long is it taking right now for homes to sell in San Diego and Chula Vista?
So in San Diego, it's 28 days, and in Chula Vista, it's 30 days. And by historical terms, that would be a very quick moving market.
So 28 and 30. I was telling Cory before the show that 30 days in Chula Vista, that's weird because I've been selling them in 2 days. But it's on an average.
That's right. Great agents sell faster, right?
Right. If you stage them right and you
That's
prepare
right.
them, you price them right also. And the next question, how many houses are listed for sale this year compared to last year?
Sure. So for year to date in 2017 through the 30th of June, we've listed 17,680 homes in the county. And for the same period in 2016, it was 19,042. So you can see this inventory problem that we've had for a couple of years is getting worse, not better. We have 7% less inventory this year than we did last year, and we need that trend to reverse. So, you know, what I really like to say to buyers, Fabi, is that even though it's hard to compete for that home, it's real important that you don't lose faith and that you keep looking for what would be the right home for you to buy, even though you may have to make offers on multiple homes to end up buying one. And the reason for that is some people think, well, maybe I should wait for prices to come down. But if you look at, and I'll give you reasons why the market's going to stay good for a few years, there's at least another 15-18% appreciation at least left in this market.
Right.
Well, when the market changes, interest rates are going to go up. In fact, they're going to go up anyway. So if buyers wait and rates go from 4.25% to say 5.5%, just that difference of 1.25% means that they'll pay $109,000 more over the term of their loan. And that's a lot more than any change up or down in the market that they're going to benefit by waiting.
Right. I agree. A lot of buyers are waiting, thinking, well, prices are going to come down. But yeah, it's a $109,000 difference. Yeah, it's always better to buy than rent. You get that?
Absolutely. And if you look historically from the 1940s forward, as long as they've been tracking housing prices in the U.S., there's never been a 10-year period of time, including the Great Recession, where if you held through a 10-year period that you would lose money on real estate. And as we know, most people who retire with wealth, they do it from real estate, not from what they did to make a living.
Right, that's true. So it's a long-term investment, 10 years, so you can see the...
Well, and you have to live somewhere, right? So why not live in your investment?
Right, Exactly. So that means we only have how many months supply? We only have that for homes on the market right now.
So right now overall in the county we have just over 2 months supply, which means that if no sellers put their house on the market now, within the next 2 months we'd have zero inventory to sell and no buyers would be able to buy. So to put that into perspective, normally in a normal market you have a good 4 to 6 months worth of supply.
Wow.
And we haven't seen a normal supply in the market since the beginning of the recovery.
Wow. Need to work on those listings. They're
Yeah.
thinking of selling. This is a good time.
And if I might add one more thing to that. So for people who are concerned, as they always are in growth periods, and they should be, you know, can you see when the end of the market is? Well, nobody can predict with a crystal ball when the market's going to turn.
Right.
But what you can do is get pretty close to an educated guess. So usually what happens is when you have very low affordability, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and you have inventory that goes over 7 months worth of inventory, you're entering a recession. When you're over 8 months of inventory, historically, you're in a recession. We are far from that now, and it's going to take time before we can get there.
Okay, that's great information. So what does the month supply and the inventory tells us about the market today and its future?
Sure, so it tells us again with the inventory shortage, we're not headed into a recession anytime soon. My guess would be it's a good 2 to 3 years out, if then, but that probably is a fair guess. And that means you have at least a few years of appreciation in front of us. But the important thing to remember is when you're buying your primary home, it is never about timing the market. It is about time in the market. And again, if you hold for 10 years, you're always going to do well. And for first-time home buyers, what they should be thinking about is buying while it's low, so they can save that $109,000 in mortgage payments. And that first home may not be their dream home, but it's always your first home that will get you to your dream home.
Right, they can always upgrade. So I know you mentioned the affordability index before, and so what is that and what does it mean? How does it affect or benefit the real estate market?
So the affordability index simply means the way the California Association of Realtors calculates that index. It is the percentage of households that can buy a median priced home in the state of California. And so there's always a number. In the Great Recession, it went into the 60 percentile because prices fell so much, which is unusual for a recession. Right now, that's standing at 28% in San Diego, 32% in California overall. When we went into the Great Recession, we were like at 11%.
Oh, wow.
So we're a long way, but usually you can see when the affordability index falls into the teens, and especially into the low teens like it did last time, and you have over 7 months of inventory on the market, those two combinations means that you're heading into a recession. Okay.
Well, and how can we keep an eye on that? How do we get that number so our clients always know?
Call FABY.
Okay. Call me. I would always have it. I need to know that. Okay, so number 8, it's based on all this information and the inventory challenges we have with so little construction and so little inventory. Do you see the market slowing down anytime soon?
So not anytime soon for the reasons that I said. And the things to really watch are, you never know how international crises could affect the market. So if there's something that happens with the United States and an international war, certainly those things can have a fairly quick impact on the market. But as long as employment stays strong and there's no crisis, again, there's a good at least 2 to 3 years market time left in appreciation. And of course, there's some that believe that the market is really just starting to grow in GDP the way it should have been a few years ago. And if that's the case, it could certainly be longer than that.
So you think it's taking longer because the recession was so bad this time? Do you think that's the way we have a better, longer, good?
Yeah, so
market?
so it used to be that you could say, like clockwork, about every 7 years the cycle would change, and we'd go from a good real estate market or a good stock market, and you would go into a recessionary time. And then we went through a period when Bill Clinton was president where we had this long sustained growth. And if you watch the market like we do, the market was actually starting to turn down in September of 2001. And we were, I believe, starting to head into a recession at that time. And then we had 9/11. And I believe 9/11 ended up boosting the economy, bringing people together, bringing people together around their homes, and that prolonged the growth. So we had this very extended period of growth. And I think because of that, we had because some of the fundamentals in the market got crazy, right? That we had a much deeper downturn because of the length of time and the absence of the fundamentals. The good part now is the fundamentals are in the market and the fundamentals are holding.
Yes, loans are more strict now.
Yes.
Like now if you buy a house, you really qualify to buy that house. So for investors that are thinking of cashing out on the rentals they bought after 2008, what is your personal advice based on the experience you have?
So for investors who bought in 2008, so a couple comments.
Okay.
So for those people right now who are homeowners who maybe haven't bought their first rental property yet, you know, the smart buyers were buying in 2008 and 9. And why were they smart? Because between the fall of 2008 and fall of 2009, the market was at its lowest point. And they guessed pretty correctly there. So they made the most amount of money in the market. So when there is a downturn again in the next few years, people should be thinking about buying when there's fear in the market, right? It takes a little bit of guts, but as that market turns down for a little longer period of time, and you think you're getting close, but not to the bottom, right? That's when you want to buy. What most people do is they wait for the market to start to go up for about 6 months before they buy. So for the investors that bought in 2008 and they want to do something with their money, it depends what their goal is. So some may say, let's sell while the market is strong. We'll either reinvest our money doing something else, or we'll just sock it away in the bank. The only problem with that is they have to pay capital gains on all that money, right? But in real estate, like no other investment, you have the ability to defer your gains through something called a 1031 tax deferred exchange, which any client would want to talk to their tax advisor about. But as long as you're selling your investment property and you're buying up in value and you're not touching any of your equity, you can defer 100% of that gain, which saves you a lot of money in capital gains. I mean, for some people, we're not talking about just tens of thousands of dollars. It could be $100,000 or more. And they can continue to build that equity and build their real estate holdings, and through 1031 exchanges, never have to pay taxes on all that wealth that they're building. They can let their estate worry about how to handle the tax problem if they choose to.
So for example, let's kind of give them an example. Let's say, like some of my clients, they bought 2 units. So they bought when the market was good, and right now they have a lot of equity, but they're thinking, well, I don't know if I want to sell because, like you said, then I have to pay taxes. I don't know if I want to cash out. So for them, they could buy something bigger, maybe 4 or 5 units now.
Yes. So that would be the idea, is take your smaller investment, use that equity to trade up while interest rates are low, right? And then now you have 4 income streams coming in instead of 2. If you move from 2 to 4, right? Then when you own 4, you want to move to 8 or 10. And so as you do that, you can create a great passive retirement income through your rental income. And for any first-time home buyers out there, or for anybody who's not bought their first investment property yet, what I would recommend, FABY, is go out and buy the book, The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner by David Bach. B-A-C-H, and read that book, and it will tell you how to gain a lot of wealth in the real estate market.
starting with your first investment.
Starting with your first investment, which should be your first
It's an
home.
easy to read book.
It's a super easy to read book.
What was the name again?
It's The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, and the author is David Bach, B-A-C-H.
So we'll put the link on the video later so you guys have it. Okay.
Perfect.
So tell us more. I'm out of my questions here, but I know we had more questions to share. So I guess my concern is always my clients rely on me. So I think this is really good information, because that way they're not just hearing it from me, they're hearing it from somebody that's been doing this for 42 years, involved in real estate, and especially you've been here in the community, right?
Yeah, so I moved to San Diego from LA County in 1984, and I first came and rented a place in Coronado and transitioned down here over a short period of time, and then bought a home in Chula Vista. And I lived here for a long time, and then moved back to Coronado after the recession of the 90s, and then from Coronado ended up moving to North County, where I live today.
But you're still here in Chula Vista?
I love Chula Vista. I love the community here. I love all the people and friends that I've met here. And when you look at Chula Vista, you know, Chula Vista from about 1987 or so forward has been one of the fastest growing cities continually in Chula Vista in the United States. So the city has done just a great job. In fact, where we're sitting today didn't exist when I moved to Chula Vista, right? East Lake wasn't here.
No.
It stopped at East J Street, and H Street wasn't extended. So it's been great growth, and there's so much going for this community. You know, the Olympic Training Center that the city has recently taken over. You have a college that's going to be built here. You have the waterfront that's going to be developed in the next number of years.
Hospitals. We have a new hotel.
We have great
I think there's
hospitals.
another hotel coming in too, right?
Right. There'll be a hotel here out in the East Lake area, and there'll be one that's built on the waterfront as well when they do that development.
So many things going on here in our community. Make sure you guys are